Mm.
Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday.
Hello.
I hope this is working and it's going to Facebook and YouTube. Hi, Miss Frida.
Hi, Miss Rachel.
So, we just came off an Xmen 15-day of discovery call, and
Mm.
you called me after the call and said, Rach, yeah. So, these calls are about people that are highly aware and super energetic and have a tendency to take on other people's energies. So I said, hey, do you want to jump on a Facebook Live and a YouTube and tell people, maybe even talk about the story that we told today? It was so
Mhm.
beautiful. It comes from, would you have your book?
I have my book.
Mm. Would you teach a
I
fish to
love it.
climb a tree? I
Yeah.
know. I'm like obsessed with mine as well. I have it on Kindle. I have it on Kindle. I have it on audio. Here it
Mm.
is. It's just such an amazing book. So for anyone watching, you said something to me that was very relevant. You said, I get that most people don't even recognize the energetic difference that they're functioning from, and this call is opening up that space for people to acknowledge how aware they are. So what changed for you today that you picked up the phone and called Rachel O'Brien to tell her?
Mhm.
Like, she literally was like, thank you so much for being in my life and thank you for getting this information out into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a practice to just, okay, I'm just aware. Like, I'm not wrong. I'm not fucked up. I'm aware of all these things that are happening. And these 15 days at the moment, there's such a gift because, like, I'm at work and there's so much stuff going on, so much insanity, and sometimes I make it mine, and then I come on these calls and I'm like, oh yeah, it's
Mm.
not mine. I'm just aware.
Oh, thank you for this, because I knew I wanted to talk about something, but I wasn't sure what it was. So, what we went into in depth today is the difference between perceiving and feeling something. Yeah. And so, will we tell people the story? Do you want to tell it, or will I tell it about this little boy?
Not a boy.
Mm.
So there's this boy in this beautiful book that Anne Maxwell had as a client, and he was sent to his uncle,
Mm.
and he was making a fuss there. He was crying, and everyone thought he was just homesick. But when Anne asked the family questions, they got to that the uncle wasn't really a super kind person. He was like
Mm.
expecting a lot. And the son, with this behavior, was showing that something was off with the uncle, but the family wasn't really willing to acknowledge that because they were like, oh no, it's family,
You
you're all
can't
happy.
say you can't say that your uncle is unkind and mean and
Yeah,
like very critical and very judgmental. Yeah.
yeah. And Anne, in asking the family questions about what was really going on, instead of just concluding, oh, he's homesick, he's a little whiner boy.
Mama's
um,
boy
yeah, exactly. They
who
got to
needs to
this
be
awareness.
toughened up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have the book, it's chapter 15. It's one of my favorite stories. So this is the difference between X-Men: is they wither in the face of judgment. It's extremely destructive to the beauty of their being and I'm going to say, the well-being of their body. Okay, the
mm-hmm.
enthusiasm of their body. And so when there's a lot of judgment or criticism, we tend to take it personal and we tend to own it as us because we're so aware. And that's what I did in my life. And I ended up having a lot of untruths about myself. I was walking through the world with things about me that simply weren't true. And because there was a lot of judgment and criticism, particularly, um, most everyone judges themselves. And so I wasn't educated to know what I was aware of. I was aware of judgment. I was aware of criticism. I was aware of diminishing a person in regard to a judgment of not being good enough or whatever that is. And once I got the Xmen tools, because you see, you've no way of vocalizing it. Someone will say, well, what's wrong with you? To that kid, like, what's wrong with him? Actually, there wasn't anything wrong with him. He was a super sparkling, creative, loving, kind, caring boy. But when he went into an environment that was extremely harsh on him and mean and unkind, he withered just like a flower taken out of the ground, you know? And so, because for me in my life, people would be like, what's wrong? And I was like, oh, I don't know, but there's something wrong with me. Actually, energetically, his behavior was communicating that he was in a mean environment that wasn't working for him. And it's so beautiful to see, you know, that when you are in an environment that has no judgment, the thing I love about these 15 days is that you get to be with caring people that are looking at living from no judgment and coming in massively at the effective judgment and owning it as them and thinking that it is them. And then they recognize that they've just been owning someone else's projection and judgment, and it's not true for them at all. And that's the difference in perceiving versus having and owning a judgment, a feeling, or a discrimination, or an unkindness and a criticism. And so for me, what I love about the Xmen classes, I always say it was these were the classes that turned the key in supercharging me having my reality and being empowered to create my life, because I didn't recognize, like, I didn't recognize the level of energetic awareness I was functioning from. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just got that when we look at other people and we can ask some questions like Anne did with this kid, but also maybe you want to look at yourself where you're like, I'm acting like a crazy bitch right now. Like, what's wrong with me? Instead of going, oh, okay, what am I aware of here? You know, like you ever
Yeah.
have that you just get angry and furious and you're like, I don't even know what's going on, but something must be wrong with me because I'm angry now. Instead of asking, okay, what am I aware of right now? Like, what's my body showing me with this anger?
Yeah. And what am I aware of? And then you acknowledge that. And in the acknowledgement of that, you reinforce your own reality, you know, that you're aware. And a lot of us that are, I'm going to say, hideously aware, we have been made wrong for the level of awareness we function from and been told, oh, you're too sensitive, Rachel. And even the way that people say that you're too sensitive is a judgment on your difference, instead of, wow, like for me today, like I can hear the child over here, I can hear the boat over here. I don't have to be told that my flight is ready to board. I can sense when it's time to board. I called a friend of mine today to see how she was doing with work, with finding a job, and she was like, I'm just in a trial right now in a physio center. So I mean, there are things that we know beyond the mind, and because the mind can only go so far, but there are things that we know beyond the mind, and we're not educated to trust that level of awareness and that level of intuition, knowing that you are aware and you are aware of things outside of you. And then one of the things for me that was the most frustrating is not acknowledging what I didn't know about what was going on around me, you know? Yeah. So you can still jump on the Xmen 15 days. I think we're on day 6 today. I'm really bad with time. And then we have on Sunday the 16th, we have a disabilities are
Abilities.
my favorite. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm in love with this class. To see people's faces light up when they get what's true and they let go something that they've been hanging onto, that they're owning about that's simply untrue, is just, it's the gift that we get to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that class starts on Sunday the 16th, 17th, 18th. If you'd like to supercharge your consciousness and really look at where your energy is going and what you would like to have as your life and living, instead of giving yourself up for other people's points of views, come join us. Come join us. And isn't it so beautiful to also know that you've tools? You're a doctor, you know. I'm a mom with 3 kids. For me, these tools change the way I function with my children. Yeah.
It allows you to really just be with them and not
Yes.
judge them.
Yeah, I mean, to be with someone and to play with them and to ask them questions about what they're aware of and what is play for them and how do they see things, for me, it's the greatest gift in the world, you know. And most of us may not have ever been played with or actually taught to play, just to do, you know. So, yeah, it's beautiful. It really is. Thank you so much for being in the world, and thanks for calling me up. And now, because Frida called me up, we had this conversation, and hopefully if you're watching this, it will contribute something to you and you will get some information from it. And again, we were talking about a story in chapter 15, Would You Teach a Fish to Climb a Tree? It's a game changer. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you so much. Well, have a beautiful evening, everyone, and I will see you soon, Miss Frida. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.